Hi. I just wanted to share my fountain pen saga. It's been quite an interesting and enlightening night. I had been reading so much from so many people about how wonderful fountain pens were, and so I did a lot of reading up online, and I watched videos and asked questions to people, and ended up buying a Lamy Safari. I ordered one with a medium nib, and was hoping that this pen would really be brilliant, because everything I read about them was that they were really brilliant. Well, I've had lots and lots of trouble with this pen right from day one. It's been hard to write with. It skips and skips and skips. So first, I thought something was wrong with it, so I actually sent it back to the place I bought it from, and they kindly, they paid for return shipping. They looked at the pen, they wrote with it. They said that the nib was very scratchy, so they put a new one on that was smoother, and they wrote with it extensively and said that it wasn't skipping for them, and apart from the scratchy nib, there wasn't really anything wrong with it. So, okay, well, I'm sorry for the shaky camera. I'm very good at this, but so I got it back. I ordered a bottle of ink and a converter cartridge, or cartridge converter, whatever they call it, and loaded it up, and I just keep practicing with it. It's still skipping on me, but I figure it's my writing style. I'm doing something wrong. I'm just going to keep working with it. So I carry it everywhere. I write everything with this pen. And finally tonight, I'm just kind of at this point of like, this is ridiculous. This pen does not work. I mean, it works, but it's really not user-friendly. It's fussy. So I had quite an extensive conversation with somebody online about this, what was going on with this, and we were thinking maybe it's how I hold it, maybe it's how I write with it, and it's my writing style. Finally, I remembered that Juan has a Japanese fountain pen that he bought when we were down in New York City at the holidays, and he hadn't even opened it yet, so I asked him if I could give it a try. So we popped the cartridge into it, and I gave it a little shake and laid the nib down on paper, and it writes like a dream. It just glides, smooth flowing ink. It's like everything that everyone said fountain pens are supposed to be like. The nib does feel a little bit scratchy, but it lays the ink down so smooth, without the slightest hesitation. So I'm like, well, this is weird. So I dumped the ink out of the Lamy and flushed it out really well with water, and shook the water out and dried it out, and popped the blue cartridge that came with it back in and wrote with it. It's definitely a lot better. So clearly there's some, it's not perfect, but it's a little bit better. It's noticeably better. So now I'm thinking that the pen isn't really working for me, but the ink I was using was exacerbating the problem somehow, just making this all worse. So at this point, I'm not really sure. I'm going to keep working with this pen, but I might try to get a new one. Juan's pen is great, so maybe I'll get one of the Japanese ones. I don't like the feel of it as much, and I don't like how it looks as much, but people say this pen is ugly, but I actually think this pen is a great design. It's very clean, it's very modern, it's kind of timeless looking. I gather it was designed in like the early 80s or something. I don't know. I think it's a great piece of industrial design. So but anyway, that's my fountain pen situation. The other thing that I noticed was that once I got this pen with ink that was flowing out of it better, and when I tried Juan's pen on my daytimer pages, it's way even worse than this. It's sort of like Kate's blog. It's just like the ink just pours through the paper. You can't even write on the other side of the page. So anyway, that's where we're at. Just my little quick update. Not sure what I'm going to do with this. It's a pretty pen, but if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. So Juan tried it too tonight, and he also found it very skippy. But it is definitely writing better with the blue ink back in it, so I'm thinking that maybe I just need to experiment with different inks on it a little bit and see if maybe it'll work better. But I don't think this is ever going to be my favorite go-to pen, because I figure if after this much time, I've written a lot of letters, I've like filled up pages and pages in the journal, I've written everything in the Filofax, I sign everything at work with this pen, and it's still not really working for me. I think it's probably not going to. So anyway, that's where we're at. Have a good night.